Welcome back to Reviews, Reactions, and Current Events. The idea of this channel is for me to cover anything I find interesting outside of my main channel, Milo the Malinois Method, see the card above, or Great Sports Debates, which will be linked in the cards. This video is going to cover one of my favorite hikes in the Las Vegas area because it is so unique. Unfortunately, the B footage was done with a GoPro I was using for the first time, so I didn't get the whole hike in. However, I've done this hike enough times to give you all the details. The hike is typically listed as moderate and is rather short at about 3 miles each way, but has a couple of fun things built in. As you can see from the footage, the first half is a slow descent into a slot canyon. I typically like to get there before 8 or on a weekday to avoid crowds, secure my parking spot, and get a prime spot once I get to the natural hot springs. Yes, that's one of the pluses. There's natural hot springs, great views, and the Colorado River at the end. This makes for a great spot to stop, hang out for a while, relax, meet up, do whatever. You can do fun things, whether it's, sit in the hot spring and then jump in the Colorado, which is always in the 50s. Get that hot cold action. And it's just a great spot once you get to that halfway point before coming back. As you start to descend, you'll get away from the overpass and you'll see a couple of car wrecks as you start this trail. This is the part where you might see some bighorn sheep and start to see some greenery. Once you get about a mile in, you'll have a little scramble section that'll be followed by your first rope section. Now don't get worried when you hear rope section. This is the other fun part. If you're comfortable with bouldering at all or are in decent shape, you actually probably don't need the ropes. I just use them most of the time, being older and a little bigger. But the first three, outside of the first three ropes, all sections of ropes, and there's about 7 or 8 of them as you go through the trail, are less than 8-foot sections. And included in those first 3, those are all less than 20 feet, with the first one having some steps carved into the rock, so you could literally walk down the rock. The second has a bypass if you don't feel comfortable using the rope to come down. And the third has a slot. It's kind of like a narrow slot that you're going through. And it's narrow enough that you could have your back against one side of the wall and your feet on the other wall and literally walk down. There's several different ways to do it. Point being is it's an extra little part of the hike that makes it fun, but it's also not too challenging for people that might not be used to roping or rappelling or things of that nature. The 4th and 5th and 6th, 7th, 8th rope all have their own unique challenges, but as you start descending the ropes, you start to get into more mild scrambling sections. You'll start to see streams from the hot springs flowing down and around the area once you pass probably about the 4th or 5th rope. Now be careful touching any of the water that's coming directly from the rock. It says that water is about 110 degrees, but I've seen some off trail down by the Colorado River where the water was definitely hotter than that coming out of the rock. If you wander off trail a little bit in this area, you'll see that there's a couple of caves as well as a few small pools of water. These aren't the pools that you're interested in. Maybe for pictures, but there's better hot springs as you get further down. I'm told the level of these ponds used to be higher years ago, but I can only speak over the last couple of years. You'll find many great picture opportunities in this area with typically no one around, colors other than brown, and the noise of moving water as you get further down the trail. The trail's fairly obvious most of the way. However, there are several different ways you can go near the end, but they all lead to the same place as long as you're following the water down. As you finish the rope sections, you'll see a pool with some sandbags. This is the first pool that could be worthwhile to use. The depth here is probably about 2 to 3 feet, depending on when you go. But further down is a bigger hot spring. If you follow the water down, you'll get there. I usually have my bag with a towel, a suit, and some water shoes. There's a few big rocks where you can store your stuff and get it less dirty, I suppose. And this is a spot where you can really get to enjoy the hot springs. There's one main big hot spring section with the water closest to the rock on the left side being the hottest. And then on the right side, as you're facing the spring, there's two smaller sections. One is a good size that you could fit a group of friends in and hang out in. The other is deeper and fits one person comfortably that can kneel, sit, lay down, or three people, if you're crowded in. Finally, there's a spring that's on top of this grouping of springs that isn't super deep, but it's the hottest of the group, and it's probably in the 110s. You can also continue down about another 100 feet or so and get to a smaller spring and the Colorado River. The total elevation of this hike is just over 1,500 feet. So remember to bring water, especially on the warmer days. This trail is closed from about 15 May to 30 September due to the dangers from extreme heat. If you don't hike at all or are concerned with your fitness level, there's also other options to include a kayak trip that goes down the Colorado and into the main springs area. Or there's another trail that also ends with some hot springs in Arizona nearby called Ringbolt, which has several different sections with the closest one being the warmest and then getting cooler as you go. Just make sure if you do that hike, if you are scared of heights, that you go the right direction. It's a circle trail. If you go the right way around, you'll have to do about a 25-foot ladder up to the springs. So hopefully this answers any questions you guys have about this hike. Like I said, Goldstrike's definitely one of my favorite hikes. It's unique, it's fun, great views, and it's nice to have something to look forward to mid-hike and enjoy those hot springs. If you have any questions, leave those down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and let me know if there's anything you want me to review or react to. Thanks a lot.